Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca for round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge's 10th season, presented by the SCCA Foundation and Buttkicker. I'm Greg Ginsburg. Joining me in the announce booth, as always, is Larry Lefty McLeod, with Jonathan Grabowski working behind the scenes to give you all the best views of tonight's action. And so tonight we head to Monterey Peninsula and the Dry Lagoon. Although just repaved in real life for the first time in over 15 years, this 66, actually now 67-year-old circuit had been known for years for its low-grip, sand-covered surface that's the same as it ever was as far as iRacing is concerned. And then there's that 180-foot elevation change with the always daunting corkscrew, a prime contributor of driver consternation with a twist, a turn, and a 5.5-story drop that will no doubt catch many of our GTP and GT3 racers out tonight in our 75-minute run to the checkered flag. And so, good evening, Larry. Welcome to Laguna Seca, where the only things historic this weekend are you and me.
There's a lot of history there, I'll tell you that.
Yes, that is true.
Yes, historic racetrack, relatively tight little band of racetrack, whether it's repaved or not. They didn't make it any wider, so it's going to be a lot of fun watching our GTPs and GT3s, all three classes doing their thing around this tight little racetrack. This could be interesting. What are we in for, 75 minutes tonight?
75 minutes tonight.
Yeah, 75 minutes of track position as best as you can find it. Yeah, I think pit stops are going to be absolutely critical. Staying clean is going to be critical. And this is going to be a fascinating night.
Well, I figured, Larry, at around minute 55, when there were only 20 cars left in the field, it ought to be a pretty clear sailing around this track. But to start things off tonight, Larry, I think we've got somewhere along the lines of 45 drivers here between the two different classes. They're going to have to find their way through this beautiful little municipal-owned racetrack called Laguna Seca. And so let's do this. Let's turn things over to Kevin Ford. He's going to give us tonight's track guide of WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca.
Welcome, everyone, to Laguna Seca, located here in beautiful Monterey, California. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this 2.2-mile road course. Opened in 1957, this course has challenged the best over the years and is certainly one of the most recognized courses in the U.S. Well, let's get ready to provide the track guide as we head up the front straightaway here. You'll notice our main grandstands to the right, our pit area to the left, as we get ready to go underneath that bridge at the start stripe finish line. Over the crest here, around turn 1, very slight left-hander. We'll head down into a heavy braking zone. Overtaking opportunities do happen here, coming into this tight left-hander of Andretti hairpin. A double left there. This will take us out and up to turn 3, another very tight right-hander. Very technical section here in this first part of the course. Now we're going to head over to turn 4. This is a very fast exit here as we head up onto the straightaway and get a good run to head down to turn 5. And of course, there are definitely overtaking opportunities here. This very fast left-hander is a little tight on exit here. You can see that dirt is right there waiting on you to slide out into it. We're going to be very careful, especially here coming into the blind entry of the kink, turn 6, and right up the hill of Ray Hall Straight into that world-famous corkscrew. Down through the gears here. We're going to be real careful on entry. Get that car down into second to the left. Track drops out from underneath you, back to the right, and then up into rainy curve of turn 9. Down the hill here, we're going to head to turn 10. Very fast right-hander, a lot of camber here to work with. Get a good fast launch, and then backtrack out right to the final corner here, turn 11, as we get ready for that very tight elbow left, and then back up through the gears as we head down the front straightaway. And there is your quick track guide around this beautiful Laguna Seca Raceway. Thank you for being with us.
And thank you so much to Kevin Ford for tonight's track guide of WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. And Larry, just as he finishes the track guide, we see our field released from their drivers meeting. They are heading on track for the start of our 15-minute qualifying session, where we give our drivers 4 attempts to set their fastest lap and set the grid for tonight's race.
Yeah, and this would be the best opportunity for track space they're going to find for the next 75 minutes.
Right.
Is by themselves here in qualifying, so we will see who can take advantage. I really think that qualifying is critical here. I think it's very difficult to pass, even on the main front straight going on into the pretty hairpin. I think is still a difficult pass. Even between classes, GTPs going around our GT3s will be difficult. They will likely take them going up the hill towards the corkscrew, as we're seeing Chris Thorman do right here, head up there. But I think we're going to see a lot of difficulty to pass, and I think track position wherever you are is going to be crucial. And I think choosing when to do your pit stop is also going to be very important, whether you try and find clear track or you wait till the end. It's going to be critical in all of our races. This could come down to the end, but it could also be a test of survival. We get points of
indeed,
critical,
Larry. And of course, in addition to going into the hairpin, the final corner, turn 11, where we just saw Ben Rose take his Acura GTP car through, is going to be another one of those corners,
yes.
One of those traditional braking zones, 90-degree left-hand turns that we will probably see some action there this evening as well. And so as we've got our cars heading out on track, Larry, and we'll have some of our, they're completing their out laps right now, and some of them have already started their first flying laps. Let's quickly point out for our viewers at home the 3 different classes that we have running and how they can pick the cars out. And first off, since we're looking at him right now, we'll take a look here at Leo Dragotta, who is in one of our 2 GT3 classes. He is in GT3 Pro, and you can pick out the Pro drivers because they've got the Ricmotech red number boards on the doors and on the hood. They've got the Ricmotech windshield banner and mirrors and end plates on their wings. And when we have some times come in and you see that timing tower come up on the left-hand side of your screen, as we're starting to see now for some of our GTP drivers, you will see the GT3 Pro drivers shown in red. Speaking of GTP, let's take a look at our fastest driver on track right now. And he was, wow, as I have everything falling down around me here, and he was also our winner in round number 1 at Imola. That is Bailey Petrowski from D2D Sim Racing. And as with all the GTP cars, and you can pretty much tell the difference between a GTP prototype and the GT3 cars, but they've got the black number boards and windshield banners, yada, 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 and you can already see their times coming up on the screen. Now we'll jump over quickly to GT3 AM, and we've got Ilia Speaker here, and we can pick out the AM drivers. They've got the green number boards, windshield banners, mirrors, and end plates on their wings as well. And on the left-hand side of your screen, well, oddly enough, they're shown in green, Larry.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. Yeah, no, this will be, I can't believe, what did we say, we have 45 cars signed up tonight? Oh my gosh, this is just going to be nuts here for round 2. Now, we had round 1. We could talk about the results of the thing, but that was also a very relatively tight track that was tough to pass. Not getting any easier tonight, so our drivers hopefully are getting used to it. As you mentioned, Bailey Petrowski was our round 1 winner and already leading the qualifying so far, but I tell you what, it's not going to be easy to walk away from the field tonight. I think this is going to be a huge challenge for anybody, just because it's not a long track. There's just no space to hide.
No, 2.25 miles, and as we said, 11 turns. Yeah, you don't have a lot of time to hide, and the straightaways are fairly short. even compared to Monza, or probably to Imola, pardon me. And yeah, it's going to be a tough run. All right, so speaking of that, let's take a look at how things finished up at round 1, Larry. And we'll start off with GTP, where our overall winner, Bailey Petrowski, our provisional pole sitter right now. And he's got a time of 1:10.5 in the books. Finishing second was Tanner Dibble. Tanner is running for DNA Motorsports, and he is currently sitting 6th in the order in his Porsche at 963. There's Tanner. And then we had Palakui Grant, who just moved up to 2nd fastest. Palakui was our season 8 champion, and he is Bailey Petrowski's teammate there. And so let's take a look at the point standings if we can. John, after the first round in GTP, there you go. And I think rather than me running down more of the starting order, you can see it pretty much right there with Milan Harris, Dalton Fredericks, also with Nikki Chan in her very first race in the World Challenge there. And pretty much as you would expect, I think Wyatt Franklin and Tim Pfeiffer, Jim Pfeiffer, did not race in round 1, hence the 0 points for them. All right, let's move over to GT3, and we'll start off with GT3 AM, where we had David Steiner from Dominate Racing take the win in the number 63 BMW M4. Finishing second was Ilia Speaker from Rockefeller Racing in the number 86 Porsche 911, and then finishing third, his teammate Adam Ballard, and Adam driving a Lamborghini Huracan. So let's go take a look at the point standings after one round, Larry. And there they are up on screen. Should also mention that finishing 6th was Michael Caffrey. That's David Steiner's teammate from Dominate Racing. We're going to hopefully hear from Mr. Caffrey before our race gets started here tonight. We'll talk to him at the end of qualifying. And now if we move over to GT3 Pro, it was Orion race team on the top 2 steps of the podium, with Mike Dam taking the win in the number 93 Porsche 911. His teammate Leo Dragota finishing in 2nd, and then Michael Brooks from The Wrong Stuff in the number 83 Lamborghini Huracan. There's Michael. He came in 3rd at Imola, and right now it looks like in qualifying, Larry, it's all Orion top 3 here with Dam, Schwenke, and Dragota. Michael Brooks currently 4th fastest, and I think I saw in the chat here that where it is, of course, we've got all the Brookses. There's Tim, there's Anna, and as Tim said, well, the Brooks brothers are back tonight hoping for a podium. All right, let's take a look at the point standings in GT3 Pro. And there it is, Robert Hartley, Brian Bennett, new to the series in the Sector 5 racing machine. He finished 4th. Robert Hartley from Orion finished 5th. And a great finish for Jeff Jacobs, finishing 6th for the SCCA Foundation.
Yeah, well, only one round in the books, so this is the chance. If you had a bad result in round 1, your kind of pressure's on to get a good result here tonight. So this will be kind of interesting. And, you know, I think seeing the early lockout of the top 3 positions in Pro is also seeing the Orion came with their A game tonight for sure. And look at that time for Mike Dam, like 3 full tenths ahead of his teammates. And on a track like that, actually 3 tenths around here is a lot.
It's a ton. All right, we're on board, or not on board, but we're watching Aaron Beaver come down out of the corkscrew. He's got the pressure on, Larry. Actually, not only does he have the pressure on, the pressure is actually now off, I think, because he's on his cool-down lap. He's completed his 4 flying laps and only got 1 lap in the book, so 1:14.41. That puts him at the tail end of the GTP field, or pretty close to the tail end, 16th out of 17 drivers. As we now jump on board here with Robert Hartley. Hartley in that number 3 Porsche 911 from the Orion Racing Team, as he comes to the line and completes his final lap. Larry, his 4th and final lap, he turns in a 1:21.94. That is good for 5th fastest in GT3 Pro, and 7th fastest overall.
What's the 4th of those Orions in the top 5? It's pretty darn impressive when it comes to that that group there. But I've been looking for when we get things going is in the GTPs. You got Jordan Butler, who had a not so great finish for him at Imola a couple of weeks ago. He's got himself right now on that provisional front row, and I'm looking down the list. I'm not sure anybody else is left to put in, so that could help him if he can get off to a good start in between those teammates, Petrowski and Grant, currently first and third on the grid order for GTP.
All right, Ken Copeland now for the wrong stuff in his Mercedes AMG GT3, currently sitting 8th in Pro, and he calls off, Larry, what would have been his 4th and final flying lap, brings the car down the pit lane. He's going to start 8th in Pro, 10th overall in GT3.
Yeah, it's a deep field. 11 in Pro and 17 in AM tonight. That's a huge amount of GT3s. This is as big as any pro race would have seen here at this track. So we get to do it in the virtual world. This should be a lot of fun.
And there's Robert Hartley. Robert Hartley, we're about 10 minutes into qualifying. Again, this is now his, we'll call it a cool down lap or a practice lap for him, as he had already completed his 4 flying laps. And as I think we mentioned earlier, qualifying 5th in GT3 Pro. All right, let's take a look. I think we have, well, we've got Ilia Speaker sitting in the interview room. I'm wondering if we should wait.
Yeah, we were expecting Michael Caffrey, but
well, I mean, it's early. Caffrey, probably just rolled out of bed, didn't know that he was being interviewed. As he as at least 2/3 of the Dominate Racing team, we know, Larry, are based south of the equator down in Australia on the other side of the world. One of them we found is, and that was our winner from 2 weeks ago, David Steiner. Where did we say he was from? Was he from, or now
the
he's
West Coast?
Yeah, I think Washington State, if I remember correctly. But very, very clear that he had the Aussie accent. All right, let's do this. Seeing that he's sitting there,
Bring him
and we don't want to keep him out. And I don't think we've spoken to Ilia before, so let's bring in the Rockefeller Racing driver of the number 86 GT3 Pro Porsche 911, Ilia Speaker.
Hey, joining us is Ilia Speaker. And Ilia, we may have been given the wrong name for the interview, but glad that you were able to come and join us here. In fact, looks like you've got the car on the AM top position. So I don't think we've had a chance to talk to you before, but it looks, at least from the outset here, you've got a pretty good handle on Laguna Seca. Are you comfortable and ready for this night tonight?
Yeah, put a little time in, especially yesterday. So I feel pretty good, except for the fact that it's going to be a tight race, tight track with the GTPs and GT3s all on the same course. It's going to be interesting. 100 degrees on track temp, so that's going to make it a little more interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a very hot one, and with 40-some cars out there as well. Have you guys even been able to practice with as many as 40 on the track, or is this even going to be more traffic than we've seen in other series and other events?
No, we've had this many on other courses, but this is a pretty tight track and smaller track, so there'll be a lot of laps and a lot more overtaking, I think, to happen in this one. So Long Beach last year was pretty tight too, with about 40 cars. This one will be just as interesting, I think.
Yeah, we try not to remember too much of that Long Beach event last year. It wasn't exactly our greatest showing. It was certainly interesting for sure. But I think this is what your maybe second season with the Ricmotech series.
Yes.
What are your thoughts so far? And what have you enjoyed the most about coming in and joining this competition?
First of all, you guys have done a great job. From Jeff, Keith, Bobby, all those guys have done a great job of this series. I mean, Aaron Beaver from Rockefeller, turned us on to this series. Very professionally done. Love the multi-class and professionalism that everybody has. So it's been a really fun series. I came in late, started like mid-season or a couple races in last season. So really looking forward to running the full season here. And a couple other Rockefeller Racing drivers have also a great team. We've had a good camaraderie for a couple of years, so it's been fun. Plus, we know some of the DNA guys from a while back too.
Okay, hopefully good memories.
Yeah, good, all good memories. Oh, great guys to race with. Great guys to race with.
Yeah, they've been great in the series so far. I see you brought a whole bunch. You mentioned a couple of the Rockefeller team. I'm counting them. I'm kind of losing count here. I think it's about 9 or 10 that are totally
Yeah.
signed up for the series. Do you guys do separate practices together? Do you guys share setups? What's kind of the secret there among the Rockefeller team?
I'll definitely try to share setups, and we do practice together. We have about 15 or 16, I think, in iRacing. So we do race different races together, some endurance races. So absolutely sharing setups and try to practice together. Though it's kind of hard. We only have, I think, 2 GTP drivers, so it's kind of hard. You set up. It's better to do these practices that you guys, the league has set up with. You get a lot more GTP cars in there.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Grizz queuing
Yep.
up. I'll let you go. Good luck
Appreciate
tonight, and
Thank
any
you.
chance, luck, maybe any luck. We'll talk to you in about an hour and a half.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you guys. Great job.
All right, thank you so much. There you go. Ilia Speaker heading to the grid for our race tonight here from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Larry, why don't we run down the starting grid here, and I'll tell you what, why don't you take the GTP cars, and I'll get my tongue twisted over the GT3 cars.
All right, GTPs on the front row. On the pole was your round 1 winner from 2 weeks ago, Bailey Petrowski from DTD Sim Racing. But he'll be lined up alongside DNA Motorsports' Jordan Butler. Second row, it's going to be Bailey's teammate on the inside, Polyquee Grant from D2D. And on the outside from Warrior Enterprises, Dalton Fredericks. Row 3 is going to be all DNA, Tanner Dibble on the inside and Ben Rose on the outside. Row 4, it's going to be a Multifield Motorsports driver, Fernando Takahashi on the inside, and one of our Rockefeller Racing team, Milan Harris on the outside of row 4. Row 5, it's going to be Nikki Chan from Last 10th Racing, and alongside Nikki is going to be Bobby Childs from D2D. Row 6, it's going to be Baron Glover from The Wrong Stuff on the inside, and Jim Pfeiffer from Sector 5 Racing on the outside of row 6. Getting to row 7 now from Lay Pro Racing, Elias Alavi, and from Warrior Enterprises, Wyatt Franklin. And then finally on row 8 is Ryan Reisman from DNA Motorsports on the inside, lined up alongside Aaron Beaver from a Rockefeller Race.
All right, let's add one more row, Larry. Row 9, Bill Mulfield in the 911 Porsche. He's gonna start there. I guess that would be in would that be an 18th or probably 17th position. Yep. All right, let's take a look at the GT3 cars, where your pole sitter today from Orion Racing is going to be Mike Dam. His teammate Travis Schwenke starting right next to him on the outside of row number 1. Row number 2, starting third, going to be Leah Dragota with Michael Brooks from The Wrong Stuff starting in 4th position. Row number 3 going to be our top 2 GT3 AM drivers, Ilia Speaker, who we just spoke to, and Avon Dorsey, the 2 Rockefeller Racing drivers. And then we've got Robert Hartley and Chris Thorman. They're going to start 6th and probably 7th and 8th. That's row number 4. Starting 8th and 9th, that's going to be Jennifer McDonald and Ken Copeland. Great to see Brian. I don't know if, or Brian, oh my God. Larry, I don't know if you noticed that. We've got Jennifer McDonald back in the series for the first time in, I think, 2 seasons. Yeah. Great to see her behind the wheel of the 99 BMW. Then we've got Ken Copeland. Then we've got 2 rows of GT3 AM drivers. We've got Stacy Bertrand and Kirk Roberts, Ian Patience, as well as Lucas Dragota in the Dragon Sport 119. Then we've got Jeff Brooks and David Payton. Michael Caffrey in AM with Charlie Hosea. Then Josh Vidal and Andre Wedderburn, Adam Ballard, Keith Stein, Stephen May and Russ Ruddick, John Casey and Robert Brist, and Jason Burmeister. And we'll see here, they did not come to the grid, Larry. Greg Brockway and Philip Caffrey.
Okay, well, we'll see if they start from the pits. It is a huge field. May not be the worst strategy tonight to do that. I don't see a qualifying time even for Caffrey or Burmeister, so we'll see if they choose to start this race. It looks like they may have had packet issues, and if you're familiar with actually participating in the sim, that happens from time to time. But I did see last check Burmeister Caffrey.
Maybe Michael Caffrey is taking up all of his bandwidth from Australia.
I think they've got a server or 2 down there. Maybe they're in New Zealand, but there are servers on that part of the world at least. I don't think it's this one though. All right, well, this will be really to me. Of course, split starts. In case you hadn't joined us before, the GTPs will get a start, and then somewhere behind them will be all of the GT3s mixed. So while there is a pole sitter in GT3 AM, they are nestled in amongst all the other GT3s, but it'll be a split start between those 17 GTPs and the equally large, somewhere around, I don't know what it is, 30, 25 of the GT3s.
A lot. All right, Larry, pace car is on the pit lane, turning the field over to our pole sitter, Bailey Petrowski from D2D Sim Racing, as they come onto the front straight. As soon as they get past this curbing, our real live starters given to us by the SCCA Foundation can give the start command at any time, and we are underway here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. And look at his Dalton Fredericks there, giving a little bit of a push to Palakui Grant, or was that Tanner Dibble giving the push? I think that might have actually been Palakui Grant going and pushing.
It spins in the background.
It's one of them pushing Jordan Butler down. We had a couple cars
Jim
go around.
Pfeiffer.
Yep, that was Jim Pfeiffer in the 0-0 machine going around as our GT3 drivers get the green flag now as well. They're going to roll down the hill, heading over towards the Andretti hairpin here, going into turn 1. Protecting the inside is Mike Dam with Travis Schwenke now, as two cars trying to come underneath him. One of them is his teammate, Leo Dragoda, and Michael Brooks as well in that Lamborghini.
Brooks is doing everything he can to stay ahead of Dragoda. He knows he's got these two right-handers in turn 3 and 4. He's able to stay on the inside through 4, and I think Brooks is going to have that position, but going to be coming up on the outside now for Dragoda. And then right behind him, I think that might be Speaker in that Porsche right behind them as well. He's our AM leader, right in the mix of all these, with Rob Hartley behind him. Hartley got one spot picked up on the opening lap, as we got a good shot there. Milan Harris having issues as he's by himself, had a bit of an off there in the opening lap. There's another one
off as well as he comes out of turn 10.
Yeah,
Larry.
Not warm tires, that's for sure.
Exactly. Is our GT3 field coming down perilously close to Mr. Harris as they come out of the corkscrew, come down through Rainy Curve and into the very short straight towards our final corner here that'll lead them onto the front straight, as they will complete lap number 1. And Larry, as you said, the wrong stuffs. Michael Brooks, he was able to successfully hold off Leo Dragoda, but our top 4 drivers already in GT3 starting to separate themselves out. That second pack being led, as you mentioned, by our AM leader, Ilia Speaker, with Robert Hartley in his Orion car directly behind, Avon Dorsey, Chris Thorman in that group as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to see little packs start to bunch up, but some packs are going to break away, like we're seeing in the front 4, and then the second pack right now looks like it's that Speaker, Hartley, Dorsey, who's, of course, Speaker's teammate, and then Chris Thorman, and then Jennifer McDonald just about another half a second back from them. And there she is in the number 99 in that BMW. I'll tell you, this place, the best way to pass around here is wait for the car in front of you to stick tires off in that famous Laguna Seca dirt. It is the slipperiest of dirt. It looks like Michael Brooks up there is having an issue. I wonder if he got himself a course cut or something he had to serve a penalty for, or he had an issue there maybe at turn 6.
Oh, yep. And
a lot
I
of
think he
bunching
did,
up.
Larry, and he's
That'll be
definitely
a
having
course
trouble
cut.
with the corkscrew as well, as he and Speaker got together right at the first apex there.
Brooks is definitely going to have a slowdown for that one as well. Look at him already slowing down there on the right side of the track. He is going to lose tremendous position. Remember, he had done such a great job of getting around Dragoda. Let's watch the entire thing here from Brooks as he now has come up the hill.
Yep, as they come up Ray Hall and head into the corkscrew.
There's the kink at 6, and that's where it looks like it started to go wrong for him. And the pack catches him, and then he tries to hold position as he went down corkscrew, and that's where he ended up cutting the course at the last part of it. That hurt him tremendously. He went from running up in 3rd to down in 10th. 10th overall.
Yeah, 10th overall, 7th in pro.
Yeah, losing those 7 spots to a mixture of pros and AMs. That is a tough way there for that Brooks brother. And there goes Thorman to exit stage right.
Oof. As he comes down the ring, as he comes out of, out of 2, and he brings the car on the hook back to the pits. Oh, that is a horrible start there for Chris Thorman. That's obviously going to bring him to the back of the field. Let's take a look.
Quick replay for him, and I suspect he catches a little bit too far beyond the curb. Sometimes that'll hook the car, or the sausage curb. No, I think he just gets to the exit grass.
No, he just got into the grass there.
Yeah, I call it grass. It's just a bunch of sand.
Sand, yeah.
It's about the brownest grass you'll ever see. But yeah, that looks like he just sort of, his own demise was just getting a little bit too out there across the curbing. But look at this now as Jordan Butler and the GTPs start making their way through the field of GT3s.
That's right. We've got Palakui Grant there very close behind as they both cut underneath Jennifer McDonald. coming out of the rainy curve, going into turn 10 and making that run down to turn 11. And it is already getting so hectic here, Larry, on lap number 4.
Yeah, this
There's
is
just
an
not a lot of room to
absolute
maneuver.
insanity. Yeah, it's such a narrow track. The straightaways are very short, and the corners take such precision that trying to get around anybody is very hard. And the slowdown, we talk about some tracks you can get away with running side by side for a while. This is not one of them. This place, the corners all sort of pinch a little bit. There's sausage curbs there at 3 and 4 that you've got to watch for. And look at this move here from Butler, getting down the inside of one of our wrong stuff drivers. He's going to go around the outside of it. That's Bailey
and Larry,
Petrowski
he's made
right
up a
in front.
lot of ground on Bailey Petrowski. He was probably a good 40 car lengths back, and you know, at traffic luck, it'll either do you right or do you wrong, and he's been able to make up a lot of ground in just half a lap.
That's high risk reward though. If you watch him make those moves, and especially that kind of traffic, if you're a GT3 car, you're looking at your relative, you're looking at your mirrors, you don't see a very fast car coming because it appears in your relative screen so quickly. You normally have 3 cars, the front and behind is how most people keep it on, and so you don't always see them approach through there. All of a sudden, this thing just pops up in your mirrors, you get nowhere to go. But look at this; they already have caught the leaders in GT3 for the first time. Next one up in front of them, that might be.
That's that Speaker directly that he's coming underneath right now, and then just ahead of Speaker, Robert Hartley.
So look at them making the way through. This pack's a little more spread out than the backs of the GT3 were. Those guys are still 2 and 3 wide. Here it's a little bit easier, but they're about to come up on that lead pack of 4 that we talked about.
Yeah,
that Mike Dam, Travis Schwenke,
and what we saw with that previous large pack, Larry, is there have been a lot of opportunities for these GTP cars to almost get trapped between GT3 cars that are either side by side or there's still some overlap, and they are having to really thread the needle between some of these cars and be very, very quick to pull the trigger to move their cars laterally to look for those little spots as they open up.
Well, it looks like while our GTP leaders make their way past the GT3 leaders, we got a lot of smoke at the top of the corkscrew. Probably cars catching dirt as they go through. You got this good little battle
and
here
a
at
lot
Jeff
of brake
Brooks.
lock up there from one of our wrong stuff Porsches and one of our and I think that was Jeff Brooks. Was that the Porsche or?
Yep, that's Jeff Brooks in there in the Audi.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also one of our GTP cars went for a pretty wild ride as well.
And that's Stacy Berchgren in the 52 in that Porsche right there as the GTPs are trying to make their way through that pack. That's the 00 at Jim Pfeiffer in that yellow GTP. And they are 3 wide down the front straight going into the hairpin. Look at the line that the GTPs can take on the outside as one of our DNA entries goes around that line, is able to get around a couple of our GT3s.
Well, it's probably a good thing that they can take that, and they've got the downforce to take that outside line, because I think, especially going into Andretti, these GT3 cars, I'm sure that their predilection will be to go down to the first apex, try to square things off, and with the rate that the GTP cars are closing, I could see where they would just end up closing the door on a GTP car if it tried to go down to the inside.
Yeah, look at this now. Was that contact back there with Leo Dragota and one of our DNA entries there in GTPs?
I think there may have been just a slightest of impacts there.
Yeah, I think it was Ben Rose who just got into the back of him. Didn't look like he slowed down much, either one of them, but that's some tight maneuvering there between turns 9 and 10. So the battle continues of the other Brooks, Jeff Brooks and Stacy Bertrand. David Payton just in the back in the Lamborghini.
All right, Larry, we've got the pit lane filling up as well now. We've got we still have Chris Thorman there, who we saw his incident early on. We've got Russ Ruddick now, Lucas Dragota, Adam Ballard, as well as Kurt Roberts in the pit lane as well. All right, let's take a look and see. Well, there you go. Let's take a look and see what happened to Adam Ballard.
point, he was already going a little bit slow and has already significant damage to
Yes.
his Lamborghini.
So looks like the Rockefeller Racing driver likely going to be there for a while.
And this looks like a little further back on that replay is on his outside. Looks like one of our
Oof.
DNA entries. They just touched coming around 4, and he hit that wall hard. And then
and I think that
is it Russ Ruddock?
That's Russ Ruddock. So now we know why Russ Ruddock is there in the on the pit lane as well.
Russ did everything he could to try and avoid that. There's just nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
Oh, this place is just brutal. Look at this battle here. This again, the 0-0, Jim Pfeiffer and Elias Alabi in the number 28. And what is that Hartley just trying to stay out of their way.
And I think I'm fairly certain Halabi is the driver that we'd seen go off at the corkscrew a little earlier, a couple laps ago. As he now gives up, well, he didn't give up the position already, but we've got Pfeiffer there. That is the battle for 10th right now between those two.
Alabi's car looks loose, but then again, he's also being aggressive. They could be related.
Yes, very much so.
As they go around turn 5, start climbing the hill under the bridge, through the kink at 6, right alongside our second and third place runners in GT3, those 2 Orion entries of Schwenke and Jargoda. And that's Mike Dam now. He's just going to be deliberate here, make these guys work around him. But look at that.
Oh.
That's a lockup there for Pfeiffer, and Alabi had his own, but Alabi managed to probably avoid the slowdown that Pfeiffer's about to get.
Yeah, I think Pfeiffer is going to probably try to get that served.
Yeah.
Larry, as they come, maybe open up a bit of a gap and then try and serve it on the front straight.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know that he can wait till all the way down to turn 1. He may try. But you've also got behind them,
now, I think.
That's Baron Glover in the 13th, the wrong stuff right behind them, another one of the Porsche GTPs. Oh, well, wait, maybe he's going to try to do it here through the hairpin. That's like a significant off to have to slow down penalty there.
All right, let's jump back a little bit, Larry, back into GT3 land. This is the battle for 5th right now between Robert Hartley from Orion and Ken Copeland for the wrong stuff in his Mercedes.
Not talked about Mr. Copeland at all tonight. Season champ from last year. He's starting a little further down the order than maybe we're used to, but he's going to be fighting his way through. He's already picked up a couple of spots. See how he does with the veteran Robert Hartley.
And I don't believe Ken was at round 1.
No, I believe he was spectating and chatting with us.
That's right. He was watching the race from his couch. That's right.
Yes, he was. But he's in a little train right now. Of course, got Hartley with Ilia Speaker, who's your AM leader in front of them, and Speaker being smart doesn't want to give that position up because he knows that they're Avon Dorsey, who's certainly second. He's pretty far back there, but if Speaker can hold that position, he can kind of keep a bigger buffer. But he has to watch that traffic coming up behind him. That's Bill Mulfield is going to be the next of the GTPs to get through the pack.
Hey Larry, I know we've had this gentleman agreement not to talk about a certain driver until something really bad happens. But I just want to allay Stubby's fears, because he put in the chat, something must have happened to Bobby. I don't see him now. There's Bobby. Bobby is currently running 8th in GTP as he's coming up towards the corkscrew, which means I'm probably going to jinx him. Nope. He's okay.
No jinxing. Bobby's just fine. We should get the camera off him as soon as
That's right. We might want to get the camera off him.
We don't want to jinx Bobby. We like Bobby. We like to see him
make and complete his 11th lap.
We like to see him doing well. This is a very tough track. I got a friend of mine who says this is one of those tracks that's, ancient burial grounds, and you need to sacrifice things in order to have success here. I don't know if that's true or not. I cannot confirm or deny, but he certainly is one of those that is afraid of the Laguna Seca and all of its mystique. Look at this. That's contact. That was aggressive. That's the 172 of Jordan Butler.
Jordan Butler and contact there with the 64 machine of David Payton from D2D.
Butler just trying to keep pace with Petrowski without losing sight, so he does need to be a little aggressive. We saw him being aggressive before the first time through the pack. Here he is doing it again. Love the flashing lights there on the 21 car coming at us. That's Ian Patience.
Who I think we've noted, Larry, usually has a lack thereof So as he works his way around these, as Peyton has some issues. They're coming out of turn 10.
Nice save, though. I got to say that.
Yeah.
I think he bumped a little bit of curb or dirt or something. He got himself loose, but managed to recover very quickly. As another one of our Tanner Dibble, currently in 4th from the GTPs, goes on by. Tanner trying to chase down Paulie Grant, who just saw a second ago as well from one of those shots.
Nice little fight here going on, Larry. This is, we talked about Hartley, Ken Copeland, and also our interview guest tonight, Ilia Speaker, who's worked his way up through the field.
So I was saying Speaker might try to hold that position. Maybe he wasn't aggressively defending and decided to let these two play on through. He's still got a pretty good buffer, as you see there on the timing tower, about 6 seconds back to Mr. Dorsey in second spot in the AM class. But these two, though, between Copeland and Hartley, are going to be putting some speed on here to try and catch up to Brooks, who's a couple seconds ahead. I'm hearing lots of penalties from our stewards being issued. We missed one earlier.
Ryan Reisman in the 414 car, the 414 Cadillac. He is going to need to serve a drive-through penalty, incident responsibility.
That was in his incident with the 29 of Adam Ballard. There was also an incident earlier between the 99 of Jennifer McDonald and the 195.
Larry, real quick.
Uh-oh, that's Bobby.
Bobby, and
going slow.
I saw a big cloud of dark black smoke. Is it possible to blow the motors on these cars?
It may have just been dirt. Let's see what Bobby does. I mean, it's possible, but
I wonder if he downshifted.
That looks like a whole lot of tire smoke, but look at the save by Childs. Yeah. It's a beauty. Slows down there in the dirt of the inside, but
all right.
Yeah.
All right, so it was dust and dirt.
Yeah, just Bobby playing in the dirt. That's okay. That's what big kids do. It's fine. He recovered.
And another penalty coming in, the 26 machine. That
Josh
is
Vidal.
Josh Vidal having to serve a drive-through penalty for incident with the number 98 car, Milan Harris, who is currently in the pits trying to get his Cadillac GTP machine repaired.
And there was one more penalty a bit ago I was mentioning, is Jennifer McDonald was in an incident with the 195. She's, of course, in the 99, but the 195 was the other car.
Kurt Roberts.
Yeah, Kurt Roberts, that's what it was. So penalty was issued to Jennifer for cause of that incident. As
we were just looking at the Milan Harris incident. Wow.
Decides to shed his rear clip in a violent way. Josh Vidal there. Quick delivery on that one. And that's Stephen May in the Ferrari. And he stopped. Trying to find a place to rejoin, I think.
Yeah, I think that's coming down the rainy curve, coming out of the corkscrew. Let's see what happened. See if it started off in the corkscrew. No, he made it out successfully there. And much
watch
like
the
Bobby
exit here of 9.
Rainy,
watch the exit of 9. Is he... Oh, I wonder if he had a sim issue.
I was just going to say, it looked like maybe a hardware issue of some sort, Larry.
Yeah, just the way
he got tapped, and even if he did get tapped, the trajectory that he took just didn't match up with what he was doing.
Backing up in the pits is never going to be a good result, but hopefully he gets that sorted out. That's unfortunate. We're back to action here. Of course, that's David Payton, the 64 from D2D, in the middle of a giant pack.
By the way, Larry, Stubby is taking all responsibility for Bobby's incident.
A viewer's curse. I like that, Stubby. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just because you asked for him. We're off the hook, Greg. Or should I call you Brian?
Yeah, call me Brian.
As the viewers know by now, you do a lot of race calls with a couple of gentlemen named Brian.
Multiple Brians.
I am the only announcing partner I think that you have that's not named Brian.
If it makes you feel any better, makes you feel any better, Larry, I called Brian Donati Larry once this weekend, but
I do feel better.
I did it on purpose.
Oh, now I don't feel better anymore.
Yes. I just wanted to let him know that you and I were going to be sharing a booth at Watkins Glen in a couple of weeks, and he should be concerned and worried. All right.
All right, back to action. That's Charlie Osea in that BMW, one of the Rockefeller Racing entry. I do like that paint scheme.
I do.
Yeah. Makes me hungry for Oreos every time. In no way paid by Nabisco. But I do like the color scheme there. It's pretty wild. And they've got such a good contingent, as we were talking to Ilia earlier at the pre-race. They've got it's about 10 cars in this field that are signed up at Rockefeller. At least signed up to join. Probably about 7 or 8
they came in what 2/3 of the way through last season.
Yeah, it's great.
Put on a pretty good show, and as you mentioned, or as Ilia mentioned, 2 racers in GTP. So we'll see a little bit more in those ranks as well. By the way, I'm just glad that they're not using a keyboard elves livery.
The dangers of open fires and trees.
Yes.
All right, back to action. Thank God. Back to action. Polyquid Grant in a battle here with Tanner Dibble. Tanner right on his heels. One of our DNA entries is Tanner. Polyquid, of course, from the D2D field of cars.
And Polyquid, our season 8 champion. Billy Petrowski, last season's champion, season number 9. And Dibble's starting to reel him in that 963 Porsche. Last time around, almost actually 2.5 seconds, where Polyquid Grant on the previous lap was in the 14s. So we get some issues with traffic.
And Petrowski was season 8 champion. Tanner Dibble was season 9 champion.
Oh, let's try it. Oh, what am I getting wrong there?
But Bailey was 2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago. Gotcha.
Didn't want to leave Tanner out like that.
That's right. I'm sorry.
As he's
I'm sorry.
at the one chasing down Polyquid Grant right
Stubby made me do it.
now. The announcer's
That's right.
curse season
Polyquid was
turn.
season 7 champion. All right, and another penalty coming in, Larry. The 0-0 machine of Jim Pfeiffer getting a drive-through penalty, and I think we saw that incident earlier. I think that was the one up the corkscrew back about 10 laps ago.
And if you're
Lap
keeping
7 or
score,
lap 8.
if you keep his score at home, Shane Larson was our season 6 GTP champion, which was the first season we had a GTP class. So there you go. Larson, Grant, Petrowski, and Dibble, the 4 that have won GTPs. And I don't want to read the whole list of past champs in GT3s, but it includes Copeland, Mike Dam.
Times.
Yeah.
Yeah, over 10 seasons, yeah.
Yeah, had a few different folks win those things.
Yeah, Ken Copeland in Pro last season, as I think we talked about, and Jeff Brooks, RM champion. And then the year before, and this is the 2nd season in Pro for Leo Dragota, as he was our season 8 champion. And typically, when you win the championship in AM, you graduate to the pro ranks. And, both these drivers have shown themselves to be pretty darn adept running pro after those championships.
Speaking of the young lad Dragota, there he is. Currently sitting in 2nd and maintaining a pretty good pace there. I think he's even picked up the pace a little bit to keep up with Mike Dam after earlier being separated.
Yeah, they've both been running pretty consistently in the mid-22s, although Dam just set his fast lap of the race at a 122.1, about a half second faster than the young Dragota. As we jump back over to this is the GTP. As we have one of our Rockefeller drivers run wide. This is Dalton Fredericks and Fernando Takahashi with Ben Rose in tow. The battle for 5th right now in GTP.
Yeah, these things are just lightning fast. I'm used to seeing slow cars around here, and these are the opposite of it. See, you blink and they go through a couple corners. And speaking of blinking, that's one of our Caffreys there in the number 66, Michael Caffrey, in that Mercedes that was sliding and managed to recover, I think, as the GTPs went by. As we take a look at Fernando Takahashi and his GTP entry.
Yeah, and I forgot where we've got. I think that's Tanner Dibble.
Oh,
just up ahead
Takahashi's
as well.
loose. He's off. Nice save by Fernando. You're saying?
No, I was going to say we also have Tanner Dibble in that group in the number 963.
Yeah.
Porsche just a little bit further ahead, and I think, well, who is that?
Was that Bill Maltfield? Was going slowly
okay.
on the right. Yep. Fernando's teammate. All right, here's Caffrey. Got a little bit of grass on the entry. It started to slide. Well, look at everyone scatter. Oh, what a great couple of saves there.
All avoided him,
yeah.
But kept the rear wheels going, got the car straightened out.
Yep, no contact looked like from anybody, but certainly some Code Brown moments going on for sure. So take a look at Ben Rose right there between Fredericks and Takahashi. Ben Rose won his share of races in this series over the last couple of seasons, going around Robert Brist in the GT3, the BMW.
All right, so Larry, the GTP pit window should be opening up right about now. We think that the GTP cars will probably get about 43, they can run about 43 laps on fuel for what will likely be a 64-lap race for them. And so that window's opening up now. I'm wondering, should we take our break a little bit early tonight, or do you want to hold on just a little bit? The GT3 cars, their window will be opening in about 2 laps.
It'd be a terrible time.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's take an early break tonight. John, start to throw you a curveball here. And real quick here, just getting word, it sounds like the 29 car is going to get a drive-through penalty as well.
Is that Vidal?
Yeah, Josh Vidal for...
Oh, 29, sorry, it's Adam Ballard.
Vidal's 26.
That Ballard is the 29.
Right, Ballard getting a drive-through penalty. All right, Larry, let's take a quick break. We'll be back here in a few moments after we thank some of our partners and sponsors. You are watching round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by the SCCA Foundation and Buttkicker. And we'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
And welcome back to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. It's round number 2 this evening, and Larry, as we think those pit cycles are going to be starting momentarily, and I think we've got a couple people who've just now come into the pits. I want to talk quickly here about two of our wonderful sponsors. One of them is our title sponsor, Ricmotech, who is increasing its support for our series and our drivers by offering $100 in Ricmo bucks to be given away at the end of season virtual banquet, and our one lucky driver will win that prize, and they'll be able to purchase items with essentially it's a gift certificate for $100 at the Ricmotech online store. But drivers must compete in 6 of the 8 rounds of our season in order to be eligible. Also, Buttkicker. Once again this season, Buttkicker is going to be presenting one lucky driver, again at that virtual banquet, with a Buttkicker Gamer Plus package valued at $279.95. So lots of good prizes here for our drivers this season in the World Challenge.
Yeah, appreciate their support, and I'm sure so will the winners. All right, so we've got Mike Dam still leading the way here in GT3, but I tell you, it's not been free for him.
No.
He's just about a second or so up on Leo Jagoda, who I think has dropped back just a little bit through some of this traffic here. But Travis Schwenke now just a half a second behind Leo. As all 3 of those Orion cars are leading, but no one's really pulled away in all this. And they've got should be Takahashi there in the 23 GTP car, and the Multi Motorsports trying to go on by.
Yeah, and Larry, as we look at the GT3 field now, is basically a lockout with all 3 Orion drivers up at the front of the field. Michael Brooks in that wrong stuff Lamborghini, who had after his series of offs had fallen back into I think 7th position in GT3. He's now worked his way back up to 4th, and he's gotten around Hartley and Copeland, and I think he got around Ilia Speaker as well. And he's starting to close things down on the 3 Porsche drivers.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's a great push through this field to put himself in a position that when he goes to pit stops, do you want to be a couple seconds back or no more than? He's doing a fantastic job of recovering. He's clearly the fastest GT3 on the track as he's setting up, trying to get around one of our Mercedes there.
And that is one of our AM
Mercedes.
Roberts,
actually.
Yeah, I think that's Roberts.
Yep. And he go ahead and yields and lets Mr. Brooks on through. So good spot to let him on through as well, because you want to get a good, if you're Brooks, you want to get a good launch here off of 11 and down the front straight. So Michael Brooks now just 2.5 seconds behind Travis Schwenke. And nobody in between them, which is probably as critical as anything.
For the time being, Larry.
Yeah, well, it's true. We're never very far from traffic around here, are we? Look at that. Look at that graphic there. A little up, a little down, and then one big chunk that may have been some traffic for Travis Schwenke that allowed Brooks to gain that big chunk, but the net is he's gaining.
All right, Larry, Bill Mofield and Jim Pfeiffer have pitted in, and appears that Pfeiffer just completing his pit stop, Bill Mofield starting his. They are currently running 14th and 15th in GTP. Coming down the pit lane now, that is Tanner Dibble. He is pitting in from 4th.
That left front in his car has got a little bit of an extra wave to it that wasn't there when we started. So he's got a couple of battle scars. Car seems otherwise okay, pitting from 4th. See if what kind of position he comes in at this point. It's almost, you've got to have a fantastic spotter who could do math on the fly, or it's just kind of a hit or miss, and what kind of traffic you come out in after your stop.
Yeah, as crowded and as hectic as it has been here, I think it would take more than doing math on the fly, Larry. All right, coming into the pit lane, that is Nikki Chan, and gets into the wall, and it is a very difficult entry onto the pit lane here with that real tight, more than a 90-degree left-hander there to get on, and it's challenging because you've also got to get into the brakes very hard right there. That the cone for the start of the speed zone is right around that bend as well.
Managed to get into her spot and get up in the air. We'll see if she takes tires and heads back out here in a second. But this is probably a good time. I'm one of those who believes that you don't necessarily want to be coming in and out of the pits when there's a bunch of traffic. And of course, we just saw Nicky coming in to pits, and it can be treacherous. The way out is also a very long exit out. If you get caught, somebody has a spin or something in front of you, it could hold you up. So going in by yourself, coming out by yourself, highly advisable.
Advisable. Well, and I was going to say also, Larry, if you go to new tires and you go down that that ramp on cold tires, it is a very tight left-hander there
Downhill
around the inside of the Andretti hairpin.
Yeah, and the fact that it's all downhill, you do that in cold tires, it may as well be icy.
All right, as we're watching Jordan Butler now is, well, that's okay. We were watching Jordan Butler as he was trying to keep pace with, Bailey Petrowski. He's been lapping, though, Larry, of late around the exact same pace as Petrowski. But as we see there, almost 10, was he almost 10 seconds in arrears of them?
Yeah. Really having a pretty good run to get through this traffic, and I think that's a big key to success around here. It's just being patient, but aggressive. You got to be quick, you got to be deliberate, you got to know where you can get by, and you got to time it just right. As this little battle of teammates, as Schwenke has caught up to Leo Jagoda, and Leo's lost sight of Dam a little bit. He's 1.9. Remember, just a couple laps ago, he was about a half a second back before we went to break, and there you can see the delta as Travis Schwenke making his way up to the back of Leo Jagoda.
And Michael Brooks not much further back from there, Larry. Brooks is now less than a second and a half back from this duo.
Yeah, so Leo may be suffering maybe some worn tire here, and Travis is taking advantage of it, which means Brooks will take advantage of it. You might see all three of these bunched up here coming into the pits. Wouldn't surprise me if either Schwenke or Brooks just takes to the pits here very soon as an opportunity and not have to worry about traffic, but
Bobby Childs that we just saw head down the pit lane right as our Orion trio were heading out of the rainy curve and out of turn 10. And Jordan Butler is going to follow him in. So the Acura driver, the 172 machine.
Oh, Jordan Butler just making that wall there where we saw Nicky Chan hit earlier. Jordan, that thing must not have the tightest turning radius, so a little extra English in your way in might help.
And you thought the hairpin at Long Beach was hard, Larry.
Right. Yeah. It's Californians. They know how to make it turn tight.
That's right. All right, so Butler in from second. That's going to now move Paukui Grant up into second. Fernando Takahashi in third. None of our drivers there have pitted in yet. Paukui Grant is now also, almost 10. He's now 10 seconds from Petrowski. So he had actually been making up some ground there on Butler, Larry, when Butler came in.
Well, we'll see when these guys all come into the pits how this shakes out. I think the ones that are going to have success are the ones that pit at the right time to avoid traffic. And certainly in GTPs, that is critical as we now go on board with Ilia Speaker, our pre-race interviewee.
And he's had, I think, as quiet a race as quiet can be. Larry, he's still got, what now, over about 9 seconds over Avon Dorsey. And in AM, they were 1-2 for a time. They now have Jennifer McDonald's BMW splitting them at the moment. But she's also a considerable distance back. About 7 seconds back from Speaker.
Remember, Speaker was finished second at Imola 2 weeks ago. He makes his way around the hairpin here. But he finished second there to David Steiner. I don't think Steiner's here tonight. No. So opportunity here for Speaker to potentially come away with some pretty good points. Just to recap there, we had Ballard, Dorsey, and Patience, the next three finishers from that opening round. So if you look now, you got Dorsey up there again. You got Bertrand with an opportunity. Patience still in that group. And then Wedderburn, who didn't have a great run there at Imola, now in a good position for a top 5 if this holds. The aggression of the GTPs behind them. That's Nicky Chan.
A little bit of brake lock up there at the top of the hill.
Yeah, it's going to be Porsche on Porsche, the GTP around the GT3. And is that right behind?
I think has that Ben Rose right behind, I think? Or is is that?
It could be Ben Rose. Yeah, I think it is. Trying to lap. Yeah, he's currently in 4th, a lap ahead of Chan. Just tucking the inside there. Looks like Brist goes down the ins. Rose goes down the inside of Brist. And then Chan, of course, we talked about, she's a lap down, so we'll see if Ben gets the point by here at some point. Got a Ballard in that Lamborghini from Rockefeller.
And Petrowski just resets fast lap, Larry, in GTP with a 112, or probably a 111.15. I believe that is 7/10 faster than his teammate Podium Grant, who's the second fastest driver out there and managed to set. Although, I'll tell you, Podium Grant just grabbed another 3/10 back from Petrowski that time by. Fernando Takahashi now bringing his car down the pit lane.
So he's pitting, I think, from 3rd with the time where he came in. We'll see where he comes back out there in his Multifield Motorsports entry in this portion.
So that leaves up in the top 3, Petrowski, Grant, Rose yet to pit. In GTP, Baron Glover, Ryan Reisman, Elias Halabi yet to pit, as is Wyatt Franklin.
I'm surprised here GT3s start making their way in soon.
Yeah, it's still a little early in their window area. Window opened up for them on lap 19. Should extend out to lap 36, so still around 6-7 laps for them, really before it starts to hit a critical stage.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to that traffic management. As you look at Mike Dam, our leader in GT3s, he's got clean track in front of him. I'm in, I stay out there as long as I'm not seeing other GT3 cars. The moment I've got to start going around some of the back markers in GT3, I'm going to dive into the pits, because those are complete time losses every time you do it. And right behind them, because there's enough of a gap, 2 seconds or so to Jagoda and Schwenke, they can almost decide based on what they see Dam do. They don't have to actually,
exactly to come in at the same time.
Yeah, they totally respond because they can see him do it and make that call on the fly. Once again, Chan and very likely Ben Rose go down the inside here in the hairpin, which technically is turn 2. I always forget that turn 1 is the kink coming around the hill.
I would say the little kink up at the crest of the hill. Yeah.
Yep, it isn't much of a corner, but does get corner number.
All right, we are now starting to see, Larry, some of our GT3 drivers come into the pits. The 4th of our Orion racers, Robert Hartley, pitted in. There's Jennifer McDonald from BTL. She brings her BMW onto the pit lane. And a little bit further back in the field, Josh Vidal brings his GT3 and Mercedes onto the pit lane as well.
Continue there. So Hartley might have been the highest runner of the group to make his first pit stop, and hopefully only pit stop. But we'll see now if that's an indication of when his teammates, the front 3 in the group there, Dam, Dragoda, and Schwenke, to see if they come in shortly. And the other would be, I guess we have seen already, Jeff, we're waiting on Michael Brooks already did.
Yeah, I was to say we had, I think Michael Brooks already in. We've got Michael Caffrey. Well, actually, Caffrey's still doing repairs on his machine. He's been there for a good 14 minutes or so. Adam Ballard comes in. Ilia Speaker now coming in from the lead in GT3 AM.
Yeah, he's just looking to get a good clean stop. Get in, get out, don't lose any time. Keep that margin that he was building. Just a nice, comfortable 7, 8, 9 seconds and not have to worry about it. Good stop there. Always good when you get in your pit box. Don't have to back up. Don't hit the wall on the way in. All those things.
All right, so that's going to now move Avon Dorsey, again, who was about 10 seconds in arrears of Ilia Speaker. It's going to move him up to the lead in pro. It's going to move Stacy Bertram up into second, and Speaker is already back on his way, coming down the pit lane now Larry, that is Ian Patience in the Wrong Stuff Porsche.
Yeah, look how crowded it's getting down there now. That's what I was talking about earlier. They're coming in when there isn't a crowd, and that's Jennifer McDonald coming back down. I wonder if she had to serve a penalty or some other
I wonder if
issue
maybe she
in
got
the
black
first
flag for maybe a pit lane speed violation.
which often is a drive-through, but maybe it's a stop and go here, or maybe something else we don't really know. Is the impatience in the 21 is back underway, but with the crowd going around that pit lane, it's always tough when there's more cars in there.
And Larry, look at how close Michael Brooks is getting now to Leo Dragotta and Travis Schwenke. As on the last lap, he lapped 0.4 faster than the two Porsches.
Yeah, for a moment I thought perhaps Brooks had made his stop, but he did not. Obviously, is my timing screen that he disappeared from. But as you're talking about, he is so close to these guys now. At this point, he could even possibly leap them to the pits if he can get a good clean stop. But it's going to be a battle to the end once that happens. As there goes Petrowski,
who resets fast lap once again, Larry, to pretty much a 1:11 flat, a 1:10.98, as he is running the fuel down on his Acura. Now, we think that the pit window for the GTP cars will extend out to lap 43, so maybe another 6 laps or so for low fuel running for Petrowski.
he's got clean air. As long as you got clean air, you use it. And as long as there's some fumes in the tank, you let it run.
And looks like Petrowski's having, maybe that's why he's able to run so fast, Larry, because he disappears for about 5 seconds at a time and teleports to another place on the track.
Defying space and time inside the simulation. That's right. It's John Casey there in that Ferrari that Bailey just went around. Currently running, I think it's 10th for GT3 AM, if I got that right. Maybe 11th.
Something along those lines. John Casey, 11th in AM currently.
Sometimes my timing ticker decides it doesn't want to count all the cars. That is one of the Brooks brothers. That's Jeff Brooks coming in pro, pitting from 6th. Of course, Michael Caffrey, who's been in there a few hours.
Yeah. He's been in there now, running on 18 minutes, Larry. That car is no pot of gold this time around for him. And where did he?
There's Mike Dam, your leader.
Michael had finished 6th at Imola, so I'm sure very disappointed.
So, interesting here is Dam and
Schwenke
continue. Yeah, Schwenke just pulled into the pits, but he comes in behind another car, so we'll see if Schwenke is able to get a good clean entry to the pits. He's clear here, but there was some traffic just at turn in. We'll see if he gets the same traffic on his way back out.
And given past experience, Larry, I would be very surprised if Schwenke is not able to take over second position from Leo Dragotta based on pit stops. His stops here have been considerably faster over the past couple of seasons, and I think it's still something that the young Leo probably is working on. Avon Dorsey pits in now from the lead in AM. We'll have to see how things play out between he and Ilia Speaker, who is running in 3rd in AM, and see if he's able to get the undercut.
Waiting on Bertrand also to take his stop, Stacy Bertrand in the other Porsche, but there goes the 52 of Bertrand, another one of those Rockefeller Racing entries. This class is dominated by them. The front 3, and Bertrand, Dorsey, and Speaker, all Rockefeller.
So that'll move Bertrand up into the lead in AM for the time being. And Speaker now retakes 2nd position.
So you're talking about the potential fuel stop and the efficiency of a Travis Schwenke. I think not only does he have a history of having very clean stops in and out, and maybe Dragotta's still working on that, the other side is who is the lead of those two cars and who's the trail of those two cars? Well, it was Dragotta as the lead, Schwenke was the tail, which often means they have an opportunity at least to do some fuel save, even make that fuel stop faster. We'll see if that was able to play in his favor once we see Dragotta and maybe the next 1 or 2 laps.
All right, Ryan Reisman now pitting in with the 414 Cadillac. He pits in from 6th position. So we've got the camera on Ryan. And Larry, I think we checked this out last season, and we just watched Ryan's heart rate just plummet as he sits there in the pit stall waiting and waiting, and then it goes back up again when he thinks he's waiting too long for the fuel to complete. And he's back underway. Pum, 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 pum. All right, here comes Dragotta now in the 118 car, and Brooks following him in, and Brooks right on the bumper, Larry, as they come onto the pit lane.
Great job from Brooks there to close that gap right on the way into the pits. This is going to be awfully close. I can't imagine that Brooks was able to do any fuel saving considering his come from behind his charge and recovery run. But how close are they when they release? Let's stop Brooks even one time. Dragotta gets away first. Brooks is still sitting.
Now Brooks is
moves.
out.
Yeah, about 4 seconds
4
longer.
seconds.
That's quite a bit pit stop. All that work he did to close the 5, 6, 7 seconds to get up there, all lost right there as Dragotta maybe did get a good efficient stop. Now where's Schwenke as your leader, Bailey Petrowski, finally comes in.
And as Petrowski pits in, Larry, still showing almost an 18.5-second advantage over Pollock Grant, now down to 10. We'll see here as Grant now goes by to take the overall lead. But Petrowski had a huge advantage coming into that pit stop.
Again, he's been very efficient. We talked to him, but I think we talked to him right before the first race 2 weeks ago, and he just talked about practicing some of that race strategy and then the execution side, less about the setup, less worrying about whether the setup was optimal, more worrying about could he manage the race.
Guitar.
And he was always practicing. All right, so Ken Copeland pits temporarily. He was in the lead in GT3 Pro, now into the stop. His stop in the night. Mike Dam might be one of the only of the lead pack that hasn't stopped.
All right, so Petrowski rejoins Larry, and about 26, 27 seconds back from Pollock Grant. The time in the pit stall for Petrowski was 26 seconds, and total pit, and it's a long pit lane time here as Grant is now coming in. I guess I'm not going to do the math because he's coming in now.
Yeah, well, we can assume that Petrowski will probably get the lead back as a little traffic there in pit lane. As Stacy Bertrand pits from the lead in GT3 AM right in front of Pollock Grant, who's pitting for the lead in GTP. As Speaker retakes the lead in GT3 AM. We're waiting on Mike Dam. Might be one of the only cars on track yet to pit.
Yeah, indeed. I think still showing no pit stops for Ben Rose, but Rose is, I think, after Ben is now showing as a lap down. Actually, he's more than a lap down. He's multiple laps down. He's working lap 38 at the moment.
Well, there's Mike Dam, who had led up to this point.
All right, Pollock Grant, Larry, now leaves the pit lane. And this is, I think, disastrous for Grant, who was in his pit stall for 31 seconds.
Wow.
Almost 7 seconds longer than Tanner Dibble, Jordan Butler, or Bailey Petrowski. Grant rejoins in 4th position.
With cold tires, he definitely changed tires. See that big slide there?
Yes.
Through turn 3. He's gonna have to get those things warmed up quickly before he starts climbing the hill.
So we've got Petrowski, Butler, and now Dibble ahead of Grant as he runs a little wide coming out of turn 6. And here comes Mike Dam, Larry, pitting in from the lead.
Yep, this is the one we've been waiting on. Now behind him, Leo Dragotta did manage to stay in front of Travis Schwenke. Michael Brooks is still about 3 seconds back from them, but they're all going to be chasing, I think, Mike Dam, who had a pretty comfortable lead, but Dam does need to clean in and clean out in order to secure that position going into the last 20 minutes of the race. So far, he's done half of that. He's made a clean way in. How is his pit and how is his out?
And so, Larry, here's something interesting, and I'm trying to figure this one out. Since obviously I made a pretty bold comment and statement there about Dragotta and Schwenke, as Mike Dam leaves his pit stall now, only less than 16 seconds in the pit box. So Dragotta and Schwenke were in their pit stalls almost identical times, 18.83 versus 18.87. But Leo Dragotta's run down the pit lane was the fastest of the Orion drivers at a 56.47 seconds. That's almost a quarter of a second faster than Mike Dam and 4 seconds faster than Travis Schwenke.
That's your efficiency. That's how you do it. You know, it's not always just the time in the pit lane. It's not always the in lap. It's the actual run down the pit lane to be right on that rev limiter the whole time.
And you said, you know, when Dragotta rejoined, he had there just a couple of tenths on Schwenke, and that was the whole difference right there. As we jump now over, this is the battle of the BMWs. Charlie Hosea in the 100 car, Jennifer McDonald in the 99 car, and it's the battle for 8th.
Yeah, good little battle here. Now they're getting through some traffic of the slower GT3 car. And never easy around this place. It makes it even more difficult when you got traffic to be fighting with. And I think it's Ian Patience in the Porsche, the wrong stuff right in front of them as well. So these two play nice just for about 5 minutes. They might be able to close up and make it a three-way battle there for what I believe is, Patience, of course, is an driver. But points are points. And again, we've said before, doesn't differentiate between pro and am in terms of collecting the points. It doesn't matter who you're compared to. So it does help if you can make that position up.
Yeah, and Larry, Patience, I'm sure, is pretty darn concerned with the Rockefeller Racing entry of Stacy Bertrand in the 52 car. That is the battle for right now, the last step on the podium in AM.
Well, these two pros are going to make that interesting. As we've got a replay here of Leo Dragotta coming down the corkscrew there.
Sets up for rainy curve.
And a bit of a contact there with the DNA entry. Is that Ricmotech? That let Schwenke go by, but I wonder, it was one of the DNA entries.
Say let Schwenke go by, and I think it also allowed, nope, that wasn't I thought that might have been Brooks, but Brooks is right there. Right on the back bumper of the 118 car. It was the wrong stuff Porsche that I was looking at there that had gone by. And then we've got the is that Pfeiffer, I think, in the 00 GTP car directly behind.
Yeah, well, this is going to get interesting because, you've got Brooks now right on the heels of Dragotta after his little off and on, but Dragotta's not done because a penalty has been issued to him for an incident that I'm not sure we saw. It was with incident involving Leo and the 11 car of Jason Burmeister in his Porsche. A post 10-second race penalty has been assigned to Leo Dragotta. So, yeah, that means at this point, if he drops back 11 seconds, he's going to lose at least the spot to Michael Brooks, and he's going to be on the verge of losing a spot to Hartley, who's right now about 13 seconds back. So Dragotta really in trouble here with these penalties.
All right, let's see if we've got it right here.
This might be it. That's Burmeister in the white Porsche. And that's Dragotta, who does get into the back of him. Wasn't being patient enough to come down the course crew, and that's going to cost him 10 seconds.
Wow. That is unfortunate.
It is. He's had a pretty good race up to this point. You've got that issue followed probably the next lap with the issue where he ends up wide coming down the hill with potentially contact with another car. It doesn't matter at this point. He's probably going to lose his position that he's already fighting for. He's just trying not to lose another couple seconds and lose another position. It's Billy Petrowski, race lead, comes up behind these two. There he goes.
As as Larry, we've got just about 15 minutes now remaining. Almost exactly an hour down, 15 to go here. As Brooks comes right up to the back bumper of the Porsche, going through the hairpin.
Other battle we might want to check in on at some point here is the GT3 AM battle. Ilia Speaker did regain the lead after the pit stops over teammates Avon Dorsey, but Dorsey's closing. It was more than 4 seconds. It's down around 3.2 now.
Knocked out half a second on the last lap.
Yeah, and there you can see the teammates. And there's the deltas. As you can see, Dorsey gaining quite a bit. That's a lot of time gain, and that 3.2 could easily turn into a second. Now, catching is one thing, passing is another, but we've seen crazier things. Ken Dorsey, the teammate from Rockefeller, challenge Speaker for the lead here. Look at those chunks. That's a lot of chunks of time just falling off.
Just the one outlier 4 laps ago, but I take off 4/10, 7/10, a half a second, another 3/10. It's a lot. Larry getting word that Leo Dragota, his issues continue here. Let's take a look. Coming down out of the rainy curve through turn 10, gets one of those sausage curbs.
There's a ton of sausage
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, well,
Just lifted that car up.
We knew that he was going to get the 10-second penalty, probably have to get the spot up to Brooks anyway at some point, but I was looking at that 13-second delta to his teammate Robert Hartley, which suddenly is down to around
13,
12.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it could be any time now. As we've got more off and ons. That's down.
That's at the hairpin.
Yep. It's waiting now for all the traffic to go by.
I'd say probably the best thing to do is back onto the pit lane and no.
He's trying. I'm sure inside of his helmet he's screaming, but I was 7th! I was 7th! If you haven't seen the clip, go Google it. Just watching the field go by. But Robert Brest doing everything he can to rejoin safely. We'll give him credit for that. That's a safe enough rejoin. As Ilia Speaker now, that lead to Dorsey is down to 1.3. The only bad guy I can guess here is Speaker maybe didn't take enough fuel. And he's fuel safe.
Larry, this is when you know. This is when you know that you're in a famous video. All I had to do with YouTube was search "I was," and "I was 7th" is the first one to come up. So here, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna put this into the chat for everybody.
Hang on, we got Ryan Reisman in the 414 going off down the hill there in his GTP, right in front of Ilia Speaker, your AM leader, who's in his own battle now for his life with his teammate Avon Dorsey behind him. So Reisman not making things easy here. Reisman going to try to get around as they come up to turn 11, and this is just going to slow his Speaker, saying, hey, can you do this somewhere better? I'm in a battle here. Oh, and there you go there, nose to tail between the teammates, Ilia Speaker and Avon Dorsey. We've talked to Speaker already tonight. We have not talked to Dorsey. Dorsey now thinking, this race isn't over, teammate Ilia. We can throw the liveries out the window. These guys are rivals now.
All right, I just threw that in the chat. And should I mention, Larry, that my first ever driving instructor was Kenny Zollner, the driver behind the wheel of that Mazda RX-7 in the I was 7th video. Good friend of mine.
Great video. Just classic video. I love it. But we're back to this now. I can tell you, Ilia Speaker is going to have to respond whether he's got fuel on board or not. If he wants to win this race, he's going to have to put the Porsche pedal to the Porsche floor and hold off this teammate. And do whatever he can to keep traffic between them, because he's got a GTP teammate right in front of him going on by. I didn't catch the number on that one. Oh, that's Aaron Beaver.
Yeah, I think that's Aaron Beaver.
And then Fernando Takahashi, the 23, coming up through right now. Dorsey put the pressure on. 11 minutes to go. Ilia Speaker, there's contact between Dorsey and was that Petrowski?
That's Bailey Petrowski, our leader, Larry. Our leader is now in. Well, he was halfway in the pits already, but he is now taking repairs.
Tragedy.
Oh my gosh.
Bailey. We are going to need to see a couple replay this from all the angles, I'm sure.
A former leader taking repairs on the pit lane. That's going to move Jordan Butler to the lead. Tanner Dibble in the second. Paul Grant third.
And the lead now turns into a 1 second gap. Let's watch Petrowski now. He feels like he's got the position. And then, of course, that's Avon Dorsey, the one we were talking about in the battle for the GT3 AM lead. They just come together. Hard to tell judged or if Petrowski misjudged. They were side by side at that point.
And what did they say about iRacing's flaggers and officials being somewhat unaware?
Let's go on board again a little longer in this replay. Let's watch Petrowski as he comes down, gets to the right. And I wonder if Dorsey, if he got there so quickly.
I don't, but maybe Dorsey thought he was going to be clear. You could see Dorsey make a move over to driver's right.
Yeah, it does. It almost looks like Dorsey just didn't expect that Bailey was going to do that, and he was already committed to going that way. Let's see what the stewards say. I'm sure they're going to look at it, but that's just unfortunate. Obviously for Dorsey, he doesn't want to lose the battle of Speaker, and of course his leader with a big margin. Oh, that's just heartbreaking.
So our round one winner, Larry, who is on his way to his second win of the season, all goes for naught, and Bailey Petrowski already showing in 11th here. As I think of our GTP racers, we had, I think, the top 12 or top 12 were all in the lead lap.
All right, well, now it's Jordan Butler's. If he wants it, if he can pull this off and close this thing out. Got about a 4-second margin on Tanner Dibble. And as you mentioned, Paul Grant currently now into a podium position after all that shakes down. I think that's Wyatt Franklin in the Cadillac right behind him.
Yeah. And Paul Grant, Larry, I thought, no, he's 4 seconds back from Dibble. I thought for a few moments he was right behind Dibble. And in GT3 Pro, it's Dam, then Schwenke with Leo Dragota. And Leo Dragota showing back up in third, Larry.
Something must have happened to Michael Brooks.
As I'm
showing, all of that mayhem.
Yeah, as we're showing Brooks now 12 seconds in arrears of Leo Dragota with Hartley running in fourth.
We'll get the replay queued up right on cue. Because there is Brooks coming up in the back of Jennifer McDonald and a couple other cars. Russ Ruddock involved there. Brooks trying to maybe look for opportunity, and he may have found
looked for a spot that was not there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him. Now he's going to lose that position that he had on Dragota, and going back to the penalty that's going to be assessed to Dragota, that penalty is 10 seconds. It's now about 12 from Dragota to Brooks. So right now, Dragota's safe, but for how long?
Looked like Brooks was trying to pick up the 7-10 split over there, Larry, coming out of turn 5. Or turn 4, pardon me.
All right, so now we're back watching Tanner Dibble running in second. That is not a rival, or is that? It is Paul Grant right behind him.
Paul Grant there right up behind him. Yeah, absolutely, Larry. He's made up a ton of ground, and I guess I thought I saw in our timing and scoring screen that he was only about a half second back. I was going by the splits on our timing tower, and that's from the 4+ seconds to the lead, not to second place.
Well, he's underneath this rear deck lid. Can he make the move? There goes Grant to the inside. Can he outbrake him? No.
And Larry, to see them come down into the hairpin, practically hugging the white stripe on driver's left there and still able to make the corner, that's something a GT car would never be able to do.
If I'm a GT3 car and these two were in my relative or in my mirrors, I would just get out of the way, pull over, and watch. Look at the 3 wide in front there as those cars trying to stay out of the way of this thing. That's Brockway now, and look at Grant going to use it like a pick. 3 wide, he's going to go round him. Look at this, he get up to 6. They're going to have to get to the inside of Copeland. He does.
Or do they?
Gonna hold his position.
As Grant has to stand on the binders.
That wasn't Grant.
Oh, no, that was Dibble.
Yeah,
that was
Grant
Dibble.
made the pass. No contact. I can't believe there was no contact.
Well, I mean, Dibble locked up the brakes at a place where you're supposed to be full on the throttle.
Well, let's take a quick replay of that. So there's Grant. Now he's going to go as they go into 5. And they're going to have in front of them a couple of GT3 cars. There's Brockway.
There's Brockway. Then they've got Ken Copeland in the wrong stuff. Mercedes directly ahead.
And it's this right here that gets him there before Dibble. Dibble has to check up. Great move for Grant. He now moves up to second spot. He's still opening his lead now for a second over third. I don't know if he's got enough time to catch Jordan Butler in the lead. This is only about 5 minutes left.
All right, so in pro, it's Dam, Schwenke, Dragota, your 3 top runners. Michael Brooks just off the podium. In AM, it is Speaker and Dorsey with about 2.5 seconds separating them still. Running third, Ian Patience and Stacy Bertrand now down in 4th. And I think that probably comes down to pit stops, Larry. I'm just trying to judge here, as Bertrand had been running up in 3rd.
He had been. I do wonder if maybe there's just some shuffling between the different orders there. We will have to see, but I'm just kind of watching Speaker and Dorsey. It's hovering at 2 seconds, but we saw Speaker going kind of relatively slow earlier. Maybe he's taking care of his fuel saving issues, if that's what it was. We'll have to ask him if we get the chance. Speaker now 2 seconds up on teammate Dorsey. Of course, the car you see in the shot there, that's Keith Stein, the Canadian in the Mercedes, also Rockefeller Racing, followed by another Mercedes, I think it's Kurt Roberts in the 195. Fernando Takahashi will try and come in. A little bit of patience there, it looks like.
Takahashi currently running 4th. You can see there, though, about a little over 50 seconds in arrears of Tanner Dibble running 3rd. Dorsey's closing up again, Larry.
He is. He's getting back just under 2 seconds, but he's got those traffic cars in front of him. He's going to have to dispose of them quickly if he's going to have any shot at catching Speaker. His enemy right now might be the clock, as they're about 3 minutes plus, depending on where where Jordan Butler is. That may define how much more opportunity that there is here for Dorsey to catch Speaker.
All right, his teammate lets him by.
Yeah, not going quick enough though. If you're Avon Dorsey, you would have liked to get by maybe long before they got to course here.
All right, even though we're running down towards the end of this race, Larry, the 44 machine getting a drive-through penalty.
Dorsey, that is from his incident with what previous race leader, and so that is what's going to probably end this chance for Dorsey to make a run at Ilia Speaker.
And we kind of knew it was coming, Larry.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how they view that, if they would say that perhaps that was his misjudgment, or maybe a racing incident. I didn't think that it was going to be Bailey Petrowski's fault, but in this case, the stewards say it is Avon Dorsey, so he will serve a drive-through. Interesting that it's not just a 10-second penalty.
Yeah.
Because there's only 3 minutes left in the race. It's tough to serve a drive-through with 3 minutes left.
Right. Well, and I think also part of it, Larry, is, well, if he served a 10-second penalty, it would certainly push him back. It looks like maybe one position.
He's got a lot of time. Ian Patience currently running in 3rd.
Right.
He's got plenty of time to do a drive-through. It's just going to be difficult to serve it, considering he's probably only going to go around 2 more times, and one of them is going to be through the pits.
Yeah, just if it were a 10-second penalty, he'd lose at most 1 position.
Yeah. And I think he'll only lose 1 even doing a drive-through, given the gaps. But that guy, Jordan Butler, boy, sometimes things just, opportunities come and you take him. He's had a good race all night. We saw him earlier being aggressive through traffic. Now he doesn't have to be aggressive, other than Peliqui Grant, who was, of course, Bailey Petrowski's teammate, is making a run at this thing. This might be white flag next time by.
I was just going to say, Larry, we've got now less than a minute remaining on the clock. When they come out of turn 11, it'll be white flag.
And they're coming off the corner here, right behind your Pro leader in GT3, Mike Daniel, might have slowed up a little bit. Jordan Butler. Butler's got one more time to make it around and stay ahead of Grant. Grant's going to hit the same traffic coming in. This is going to be interesting as it's more traffic in front of Butler. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. And Avon Dorsey is in to serve his penalty, and he is out.
Butler's got to go back to the aggressive mode we saw earlier. Grant is on the charge. It's going to be one run up the mountain and right back down, and only one of these two can be on the top step.
All right, so Avon Dorsey serving his penalty, Larry. He gives up one position on track. That's Jeff Brooks. Does not lose a position in class. He will hold on to second in GT3 AM.
Got to go around this one time. As look at that. That's Jeff Brooks. Oh no, that's your leader, Butler, who's going to now have to serve and drive
slow down
around the corkscrew.
And that is going to now put Poliquin Grant into the lead with just 2 corners remaining, Larry, as he now has to navigate one more car. And here he comes under braking, going down the corner.
It's not over yet.
Oh, and Butler off in the final corner as he tries to outbrake Grant, and coming to the line, taking the win in round number 2 at Laguna Seca. It's Poliquin Grant from D2D Sim Racing.
And Butler may be following down the order here behind Dibble even. Butler, I think, tried to shove his nose in there inside of Jeff Brooks to have one more shot at Grant. It didn't work out. He went off, and I think Dibble came by for second, so Butler is going to end up in third, with Takahashi probably going to claim fourth. But what a way to end this.
What
this
a
crazy
finish. All right, and Mike Dam takes the win in GT3 Pro, and it is an Orion lockout in GT3 Pro as Travis Schwenke will finish second. Leo Dragotta will finish third. The Wrong Stuff's Jeff Brooks will come home in fourth. Let's take a look, Larry, very quickly here at these last couple of corners, and then we'll run down our GT3 AM finish. Oh, there was contact there with, oh my.
It's Jeff Brooks, yeah.
With Jeff Brooks, who manages to hold on to the car there, and Tanner Dibble will get by Jordan Butler in the last corner to hold on to second. All right, so let's take a look at that finish in GT3 AM, where Ilia Speaker runs from flag to flag here as your leader in GT3 AM, completing his final lap. He's the last man on the podium to take the checker. Ilia Speaker is your winner in GT3 Pro or probably GT3 AM for Rockefeller Racing. Avon Dorsey, his teammate, will finish in second, and finishing third, it is a Rockefeller lockout. Stacy Bertrand finishes on the last step of the podium. They're finishing just off the podium, or probably Bertrand finished fourth. I'm sorry, it's Ian Patience finishing third. Bertrand will finish in fourth, and then Patrick Wedderburn will finish in fifth.
Crazy, crazy way to think that Poliquin Grant was running fourth, a distant fourth, with about half an hour to go in this thing, and he gets the win. Oh, I can't wait to hear from him.
And Larry, we haven't had a chance to interview Poliquin Grant now in probably
been a while. Yeah.
Probably a good 7 months or so.
Yeah.
I can't wait. He is the biggest hype man of this series. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back here in just a few moments with our podium interviews from Laguna Seca, where you've watched round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by the SCCA Foundation and Buttkicker. We'll be right back.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Hundreds of name brand parts. Expert support. Ricmotech has you covered. There's only one place to go. Ricmotech.com.
And welcome back, everybody, to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, where you've just seen round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Buttkicker and the SCCA Foundation. I'm Greg Ginsberg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And John, let's take a look at that finishing order once again, and then we'll head to our podium interviews. Taking the win in GTP for D2D Sim Racing. And, you know, Larry, I don't think any of us expected it with a half hour remaining in this race, as he was sitting in fourth, and a pretty distant fourth. Palakui Grant. Tanner Dibble finishes second. Jordan Butler manages to hold on to third, with Fernando Takahashi finished just off the podium in fourth. In GT3 Pro, it's an Orion Lockout, Mike Dam, Travis Schwenke, Leo Dragotta. And then in GT3 AM, let's move over there to the next page, John, if we can. Taking the win in GT3 AM, it's Ilia Speaker for Rockefeller Racing. Avon Dorsey, his teammate, and then finishing in third, it's Ian Patience for The Wrong Stuff. All right, Larry, let's take a look. I think we've got a couple of folks sitting and waiting to talk to us. Let's bring in first our pre-race interviewee, our winner tonight in GT3 AM Racing for Rockefeller Racing, it's Ian Speaker.
All right. Speaker joining us here, and I tell you what, we talked to you about an hour and a half ago, and kind of mellow and cool. Are you still in that same sort of mellow feeling, or has victory got you all hyped up?
A little hyped up, a little intense there after, you know, making a few mistakes on my second stint and put me in a rough spot, but it's crazy. That was difficult. Sweating a little bit here in the chair.
Yeah, we couldn't tell what was going on. You had a pretty good lead after the pits, 4 or 5 seconds over your teammate Dorsey, and all of a sudden he's on your tail after a couple laps. We were speculating fuel, or was there just something else?
Slow down through the corkscrew. Ended up cutting it, and that really, and then I tried to bleed it off, and it took me too long to bleed it off, so it didn't work well. But
yeah, that'll ruin it quick. But a lot of other chaos. You probably saw his incident there with Petrowski right behind you almost. That had to scare you a little bit.
I just saw, we were on the mic together, and when it happened, and I saw the spinning, and I heard the car hitting something, and I was like, I hope that car's not coming across on that last corner to take me out. But overall, good race. Nerve-wracking. Still got 1-2 for RR, so Avon was, even though I know he got an incident there, and he didn't see him coming, so that was a rough one.
Yeah, that was a bad. I'm glad at least he didn't get completely wiped out. Unfortunately, Petrowski did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but yeah, great night for your whole team, but for you especially to be able to take this win. You were the lead for the AMs in qualifying. You had a great run the whole night, and able to defend those positions to hold on to it. Just an incredible run for you tonight.
Yeah, I didn't run the fastest lap even anywhere near close. It was a great qualifying, which is something I focused on, and got that towards the front, which definitely helped on this tight track. So it put me out pretty good in a good spot early on in the race, so that was good. Following some of the pro guys, letting 1 or 2 pro guys go because I knew they had me in a couple corners.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the best strategy. Is just, hey, you're on your own race and do your own thing, and it pays off. Unbelievable night, but I know you didn't do this alone. I'm sure you got some shout outs you want to give, and I'm sure that team of yours is right behind you as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the people, all the RR teams, Stacy, we worked on some of the setups, so tweaked the setup a little bit, so I got to give her some praise and props here too, and Avon and the other portion, all the other guys there were some struggles out there early, but overall, I think the team did well, and overall, great race, and I want to thank you guys for the job you guys do. It's great commentating, and the whole league is really done well again. I can't reiterate that enough.
Well, we appreciate that, but tonight you were the star getting the win here at GT3
I'll take it.
AM. Congrats.
I'll take it. Thank you guys very much.
All right, everybody, that's Ian Speaker, pardon me, your winner tonight in GT3 AM for Rockefeller Racing. All right, Larry, so looks like Mike Dam, we might have scared him off because he thinks he probably has to sing tonight. So let's do this. Let's bring in our overall winner tonight, driver of the number 71 D2D Sim Racing Acura GTP, Acura, I guess, ARX06. It's Paula Kui Grant.
You know, about a half an hour ago, this guy was sitting in about 4th place, distant 4th. We thought, nah, there's no way he's never going to finish the podium. And suddenly, chaos ensues, and emerging from the dust, Paula Kui Grant getting the win. Dude, tell me about what you're feeling right now.
I am absolutely over the moon. I did not think I was going to see you guys tonight, and here we are. It was hard fought.
Finally, the king is back.
I wouldn't say that. There have been a lot of good contenders over the past few races. I mean, Tanner's been putting on an absolute clinic, especially last season. Bailey with, his unfortunate string of luck these past couple of races, and this one, except the last one he took the win. This one, not so lucky, but I was just glad to keep my nose clean, and when it came to that last lap, I saw myself slowly chipping away at the lead. I'm like, okay, white flag's out. I'm a second and a half back. All right, let's see what we can do. And just one thing led to another, locks up in the corkscrew. I come down, all I need to do, keep the car on the track, keep the car on the track, keep the car on the track. And I am screaming my head off when I cross that line. I was not expecting to be here tonight, but boy, is the feeling amazing.
Oh my gosh, it was so exciting to watch that the 3 wide, the pass you make around the GT3 car through turn 5. Is that one of those just instinctual? You see an opportunity out there and say it's now or never?
That was pretty much it, especially during the closing stages. I knew Tanner had decent pace, but I was catching him as I actually took optional repairs to get my car up to snuff, and I think that did the trick. Coming into turn 5, I saw Tanner waiting behind the GT3, and I'm like, all right, I'm closing in. This is it. So I pin him off inside, and it's all up to the GT3 in front. Well, my luck was with me today. The GT3 stayed on the left side, and I'm like, there I go. Thank you very much. See you later.
Well, you may be right about that, taking the repairs healthy, because I believe, Dibble, we were kind of noting that he had a little wrinkle on his left front most of that race. Maybe taking a repair, even if it cost you a couple seconds, may have paid off. If everyone else has got these little wrinkles and they're slowing down, you clearly were the fastest car in the closing stages. All of it paid off. Unbelievable. Super exciting race. That was just so much fun to watch the end of. And it's great to have you back here. We talk about you having the king back. We're talking about your interview skills because you're clearly the best. So we appreciate how you bring the energy in here. We love it.
Of course. I mean, it's kind of what I do. And also for you guys, because you guys always put on an A+ broadcast. So I just love bringing the energy back to you guys.
It is fantastic. But I know you've got a big team with you that really loves to celebrate with you tonight. You probably want to give a shout out to them here for the victory.
Oh, of course. Chris and David down in the GT3s. You guys have been working hard. And just good job to you guys. Bailey is starting to finish races. He's placing up there. I've been giving him a little coaching lately, and he's taking it to heart, so good on him. I'm expecting him to start placing in top 5 soon. I can't wait for that. Of course, Bailey has helped me a lot in the circuit. He's got a lot of pace. He's got championship contention with him. I know he's got another championship in there, and I just thank him for the assistance tonight. Of course, Papa and Tutu, I love you. My brothers, Kalana, Haviiki, Kavehi, love you guys as well. Wes, you always watch. Love it when you watch. And of course, my guy, Sakura, I love you guys. And of course, I can't forget you guys here. You guys in the commentary booth, always providing A+. And for anybody watching, check out their SCCA broadcast too. They broadcast for them, and they're like awesome. I watch them in Mid-Ohio, Homestead, Miami, all of those club events with SCCA. Whenever you see these guys there, you're sure to get a good time.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Balkui.
Yeah, that is awesome. Really appreciate the kind words. But tonight, you were the star of the victory here in GTP, taking the win at Laguna Seca. Paula Kui Grant at D2D. Awesome job.
Thank you very much. Aloha, ahoyo. See you on the next race.
All right, everybody, there you go. Paula Kui Grant from D2D Sim Racing. I guess, Larry, this is a great time to put it an opportunity because you and I are going to be at Watkins Glen in 2 weeks.
We are.
YouTube.com/@SCCA official is how you'll find us.
Yeah,
Not
all
this
weekend.
but next weekend, all weekend long. All right, so Larry, because I'm sure Mr. Energy did not want to be upstaged by Palakui Grant, next up we have Mike Dam, our GT3 Pro winner this evening from Orion Racing. Let's talk to him.
All right, Mike Dam, you got a big follow now. We just had Palakui Grant, all of his energy. Your turn to bring that energy.
Pumped it up.
So,
my motto was kind of more like Laguna Matata, Just...
I was thinking we're going to make you sing Hotel California.
Oh, no.
But...
No.
All right, we'll spare you that. But I do want to hear about what your view of this race was. This looked a little bit more surgical, methodical, to get that lead early, to hold that lead from the pole, and to just continue to lay down a reasonable pace, because the guys behind you, your teammates especially, were quick. Michael Brooks was quick. Everybody seemed to make little mistakes. We saw Leo had a couple of mistakes there. We saw Brooks have a bit of a mistake. How do you avoid that? How do you avoid getting drawn into a mistake in a track in an event like this?
Yeah, honestly, everybody was fast in this race. You're right. Really, the lead I had really didn't equate to just my pace. But yeah, it definitely was a realization early on that the traffic was playing a big part, and I just kind of adjusted my driving style accordingly. A little bit easier, a few lifts here and there. That really helped in the pit stop. So yeah, just saving the tires. No aggressive moves, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's veteran stuff. And for anybody watching wants to know how you win races, it's not just sheer pace. You gotta survive an hour and 15 minutes of GTP cars going whizzing by you, being aggressive as they are, sometimes giving up a little bit here and there, letting them through. Saves you for the end, and the cars still look nice and clean and shiny there at the 75th minute. So very, very well done. The teammates had their moments here and there. I'm sure there'll be a debriefing among the team how to avoid some of those moments. But for you tonight, you get to celebrate victory for the team and all the others, and I'm sure you want to give a special thanks to.
Yeah, just to all my teammates. The setup was awesome. We were really on point with that this week, so that's really awesome. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting. Frank at Ricmotech, lots of great gear. He's just been a phenomenal sponsor here for a long time. So just all the admins who put this together. It's a great league. And thanks to Huffy Cycles, everybody at Orion.
Well, Mike Dam, congrats. A victory here tonight at Laguna Seca in GT3 Pro.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. Thank you so much to Mike Dam. And Larry, real quick before we wrap up, wanted to mention here that tonight's race stewards were provided by the SCCA Foundation. We've seen their ads all night long. The SCCA Foundation provides funding for the SCCA Academy, training the next generation of race workers and volunteers to make real-life road racing events possible. Visit sccafoundation.org for more information. All right, let's take a look at what we've got coming up on the schedule, Larry. And next Monday night, it's you and me together, my friend. We're going to be walking the streets of Carmel and Monterey and enjoying all the best wine bars, I guess, for a couple days, because we have no racing next Monday night. We're going to be back in 2 weeks at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Lexington, Ohio, for round number 3 of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series for our GT4 cars and LMP3 cars. And it's going to be 2 30-minute sprints, and then in 3 weeks actually, we're going to be at Misano, new to the iracing platform, and that's the Misano World Circuit. And then June 17th, the Sports Car Series returns to, or doesn't return, but goes for the very first time to Motorsport Arena Ackersleben, their longtime DTM circuit in Germany. Should be a wonderful race for them. All right, so for Larry Lefty McLeod, for John Grabowski, I'm Greg Ginsburg, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a wonderful time, everybody. Remember, catch us at Watkins Glen in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.